Hundreds gathered, eyes filled with tears and hands lifted in worship, as gospel icon Mama Mosie Burks was honored in a tribute like no other. But what truly took place during this moving event? And why are so many fans saying her final words? Left them completely speechless? Stick with us, because what happened next just might break your heart and bring you to tears. When it comes to gospel royalty, one name always stands out above the rest: Mama Mosie Burks. A voice powerful enough to shake the heavens, a spirit strong enough to move mountains, and a legacy etched deep into the very fabric of gospel history. But recently, it wasn't just about hearing her sing. Hundreds of fans, musicians, and spiritual leaders gathered to honor her life, her ministry, and the lasting mark she's left on generations. The room was thick with emotion. Some cried freely. Others sang with every ounce of their being. Many clung to each memory, each word shared as if it were their final farewell. But here's where things took a turn. This wasn't just another tribute. Behind the curtain, something deeper was happening. Whispers moved through the crowd. Quiet mentions of Mama Mo's declining health and speculation that this could be her last time in public. And then, a moment during the ceremony stopped everything. The entire room fell into complete silence. In this video, we're going deep into what really happened at the tribute for Mama Mosie Burks, the hidden stories told by gospel legends and close friends, the overwhelming response from fans who say they felt something holy in the air, and whether this gathering was a joyful celebration or a heartfelt goodbye. You won't believe the moment that had people weeping, shouting, and standing to their feet all at once. We've collected eyewitness stories, inside accounts, and historical context to bring you the full story of this unforgettable tribute and what it could mean for Mamo's future. So grab a tissue, because what's coming next hits deep. To truly grasp the weight of this tribute, we first need to look at who Mama Mosie Burks is, and why her name holds such unshakable weight in gospel music. Born in the heart of Mississippi, Mosie Burks didn't come up easy like some of the gospel elites. Her early years were filled with hardship, poverty, racism, and the loss of both parents while still young. Those trials shaped her view of the world but never stole her faith. In fact, that faith only grew stronger. From the old wooden pews of a small-town church, Mama Mosie's voice emerged, a sound that couldn't be silenced. When she joined the Mississippi Mass Choir, she didn't just blend in, she stood out. Her soul-gripping lead vocals on tracks like "I'm Not Tired Yet" didn't just inspire, they sparked spiritual fire. That one phrase, "I'm not tired yet," became her signature cry. It reflected her unshakable strength, her relentless passion, and her power to keep pushing forward through sickness, heartbreak, and life's toughest trials. But Mosie was more than just a voice, she was a vessel. Even well into her 70s and 80s, her presence on stage held a kind of power that's hard to put into words unless you've witnessed it firsthand. With just a simple wave of her hand or a soul-stirring cry, she could rattle the walls of any sanctuary she stepped into. She didn't just minister through the lyrics, she preached through her life story. She often opened up about her journey, her struggles with isolation, and how God never let her down. That kind of honesty is what connected her to believers across generations, young and old alike. And even with all the fame she earned, she remained grounded. No flashy outfits, no ego, just a white hat, a heart full of grace, and that unforgettable heavenly voice. Through the years, Mama Mosie sang before thousands, traveled the world, and stood beside gospel legends. But what made her stand out was this: every stage in her eyes was a pulpit, and every song she sang was a prayer. So when hundreds came together recently to honor her, it wasn't only because she was a household name, it was because she truly transformed lives. But here's where emotions ran deep. Many in attendance didn't view this tribute as just a celebration. Some saw it as a possible goodbye. And in Chapter 2, we'll break down exactly what took place that night, what sparked such powerful reactions, and why many left wondering. Was Mama Mosie quietly saying farewell? On a warm evening in Jackson, Mississippi, the church sanctuary was overflowing. Every pew was packed. The aisles, the choir loft, filled to capacity. From gospel icons and choir directors to regular churchgoers who had listened to her voice on vinyl, CDs, and YouTube, they all showed up for one reason: to honor Mama Mosie Burks. But this wasn't just any gospel concert or routine celebration. There was something reverent in the air, something sacred. You could feel it. This night wasn't only about music, it was about legacy, impact, and heartfelt gratitude. The tribute began with a soft organ swell, as members of the Mississippi Mass Choir entered in perfectly matched robes. Behind them, pastors from across the southern states took the stage, offering short yet deeply emotional reflections. A few couldn't even hold back their tears as they spoke of how Mosie's voice had walked with them through funerals, family hardships, and moments of shaken faith. Then, as the choir began, "When I rose this morning," the entire room seemed to sway, as though lifted and moved by waves of spirit and sound. But what followed next became the emotional high point of the evening, a solemn and powerful procession. Like no other moment, Mama Moy, now in her late 80s, was brought into the sanctuary seated in a wheelchair. Her signature white hat sat gently atop her silver hair. As she was rolled down the center aisle, the crowd rose to their feet. Some wiped away tears. Others stretched out their hands toward her, as if trying to catch one final blessing from the woman who had poured into their lives for decades. The choir paused in the middle of their song. The organ music slowly faded out. For a few seconds, all that could be heard was the quiet sound of weeping. The MC, barely holding back his own tears, said, "Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't just a tribute, it's a thank you. A thank you to a woman who has given us her voice, her life, and her heart for the gospel." As Mama Moy reached the front of the sanctuary, a few close friends gently helped her to her feet, just for a moment. With trembling hands, she took hold of the microphone, and what followed next, no one was ready for: her final testimony. In a voice still raspy yet filled with power, Mama Moy declared, "I might not be able to jump and shout like I used to, but there's still a praise in me." The entire church exploded. Some climbed onto pews. Others began dancing where they stood. Many collapsed to their knees in tears, overwhelmed, but it wasn't just her words. It was the sense that this might be the final time they'd hear her speak like this. Then came the moment everyone would later talk about. After offering a few short words of gratitude, Mama Moy paused. She looked slowly across the sanctuary, at the crowd, at the choir, up toward the ceiling, and then she bowed her head. For almost 30 seconds, the entire place went still. No organ, no applause, no shouting. Just complete silence, broken only by the soft sniffles echoing across the room. Some said it was a silent prayer. Others felt she was fighting back tears. But for many in the sanctuary, it felt like a silent goodbye. Later that night, one fan posted online, "It felt like she was telling us, without saying a word, that her time was nearly over." A well-known gospel artist added, "There was a shift in the atmosphere. It was like heaven itself was watching." And then, just like that, the program continued. More songs were sung, more stories were told. But nothing else that night could carry the weight of that one moment. And then the rumors began to swirl up by the end of the evening. Speculation was already moving through the church hallways and into gospel Facebook groups. People whispered, "Is she retiring? Was that her last public moment? Is Mama Mosie sick?" The family has yet to make any official statement. No public update has been given about her health or whether she appear again. But one thing is clear: something shifted that night, and the people who witnessed it say they'll carry that moment in their hearts forever. What took place? After the tribute may be even more surprising, because in Chapter 3, we're diving into what's surfaced since that night, including private messages from fellow gospel singers and some unexpected online posts that fans believe may have been a subtle farewell, along with the real reason behind Mama Mosie's mysterious silence ever since the event. In the days following that unforgettable tribute evening, something unexpected began to ripple across social media, gospel communities, and church circles throughout the South. The conversations began to shift. What was meant to be a joyous night of celebration had left people deeply moved, emotionally shaken, spiritually stirred, and above all, quietly worried. Because once the music stopped, and the lights in the sanctuary dimmed, a chilling question remained in the hearts of many. Was that Mama Mosie's final goodbye? The internet buzzed. Fans flooded online spaces with tributes, blurry selfies, and shaky phone footage uploaded to YouTube. Clips of Mosie's moving speech, especially the now iconic 32-second silent pause, began circulating under headlines like "Mama Mosie bows her head in final prayer." Did she just say goodbye without saying it? Mosie Burks' last praise? Under those videos, hundreds of comments poured in. People spoke of how her voice helped carry them through cancer diagnoses, the loss of family, and personal crises of faith. But mixed in with those heartfelt testimonials were growing whispers. One especially viral comment thread asked the question everyone was thinking: why hasn't anyone from our team said anything about what really happened that night? That silence, it felt like too much to just ignore. Someone replied, "I was there. I saw her up close. She looked so tired, like she gave us everything she had left." And this wasn't just gossip. There was genuine concern spreading fast throughout the gospel community. Then came the post. Just 48 hours after the tribute. Something strange happened. A cryptic Facebook post appeared on what looked like Mama Mo's official verified page. No caption, no context. Just a black and white photo of her sitting quietly in the front pew of a church, head bowed, eyes closed, with a soft beam of light shining on her face. Fans were stunned. The post was taken down not long after, but not before hundreds had already seen it, shared it, and flooded the comments with emotional reactions like, "This feels like a goodbye. That light looks like heaven shining on her. Is she okay? Someone please speak up." Its quiet deletion only made the speculation louder. Was the post scheduled in advance? Was someone on her team sending a message? Was it simply a mistake, or was it done with purpose? A quiet, poetic ending from a woman who had always kept her private life tucked behind the veil of praise. So, what are her peers saying? Several gospel icons and artists who've worked alongside Mama Mosie over the years have started to speak up. Dorothy Norwood, a living legend in gospel herself, said during an Instagram Live that same night, "The spirit was thick in the room. It felt like we were standing in the presence of something eternal." She added, "If Mama Mosie is stepping back, she's doing it with unmatched grace." That woman's voice shook demons right out of rooms. Dottie Peoples later reshared one of the tribute videos with just 5 words: "Thank you, Mama, you carried us all." Even younger voices in gospel, like Tasha Cobbs Leonard and Kira Sheard, responded, calling Mosie's appearance one of the most powerful moments they've ever witnessed in their careers. Just being present, they said, was life-changing. But still, the family remains silent. No official word. No updates about her health, retirement, or if she plans to appear again, and that silence? It speaks volumes. Even gospel radio has entered the conversation. Popular stations like Praise 102.5 and WHUR have begun covering the story, dedicating full segments to what they're now calling the Mosie moment. Listeners are calling in, leaving emotional voicemails, sending emails, sharing how deeply they were touched, even those who only experienced the tribute through online clips. One listener shared, "I watched that video and just wept. I didn't even know I needed to cry, but something in her spirit unlocked something deep in mine." Another caller said, "She didn't say goodbye, but honestly, she didn't need to. I think she left every bit of herself on that stage." And now the lingering question remains, where does that leave us? We're left holding on to the memory of a tribute that shook the room, a silence so profound it swallowed sound, a cryptic image that felt like a farewell, and a woman, Mama Mosie Burks, whose voice may have just whispered its final public hallelujah. But here's the part nobody's talking about, the part they don't want you to know. There might already be a farewell project in motion. Sources connected to the Mississippi Mass Choir have quietly hinted at one final recording, possibly an unreleased solo album showcasing some of Mama Mosie's most powerful, never-before-heard performances. And as the emotional wave of that tribute night continues to ripple through the gospel world, it's not just appreciation people feel. It's a growing, aching concern. Is this truly the end of the road for Mama Mosie Burks? While no one close to her has spoken publicly or confirmed it outright, the signs are becoming harder to brush off. In fact, behind closed doors, a number of gospel insiders and ministry leaders have begun to quietly admit what fans have long feared. Mama Mosie may have already stepped away from public ministry for good. A final recording may already be in motion. According to a reliable source inside the Mississippi Mass Choir, a private studio session quietly took place earlier this year. During that time, Mosie is said to have recorded what many believe to be a collection of farewell tracks, a blend of traditional gospel, heartfelt prayers, and spoken word reflections. The choir member, who asked to remain anonymous, shared, "There was something in the air. We could all feel it, like this might be the last time we'd ever record with her. She was fragile, emotional. Her voice cracked, but her spirit never wavered. That same source confirmed the project is being kept tightly under wraps and may only be released after an official retirement announcement or possibly even posthumously as a tribute to her legacy. There's also word that the project may include collaborations with fellow gospel legends, names like Shirley Caesar, unreleased Lee Williams vocals, and Beverly Crawford, as well as spoken commentary from artists who were directly inspired by Mama Mosie's unmatched fire and vocal passion. If these rumors hold true, it could become one of the most soul-stirring gospel releases in decades, and possibly Mama Mo's final gift to the world that has loved her for so long. Retirement or sacred silence? What's especially striking is how quiet Mama Mosie has remained through it all. No interviews, no public appearances, no updates across social media other than that one now deleted. Symbolic post-op, but for Mosie, this silence isn't surprising. Unlike many in the spotlight, she never chased attention. Fame and press weren't her goal. She always let her music speak on her behalf, and now, perhaps in her final season, she's choosing to leave the same way she came in, softly, faithfully, and with grace. One pastor who recently visited her shared, "She's at peace. Whether she sings again or not, she feels her work is done." And honestly, it is. Maybe that's the message in all this in a world constantly chasing attention, viral fame, and dramatic farewells. Mama Mosie Burks is teaching us something quieter, something deeper. That sometimes the most powerful goodbye is the one whispered through a song. The end of an era. If this is truly the close of Mama Mosie's public ministry, let's be honest, she leaves behind one of the most impactful legacies in gospel music history. She gave voice to the voiceless. She walked believers through heartbreak and into healing. She showed the world that anointing doesn't fade with age. And most of all, she reminded us all that God still moves through humble vessels. Very few people in any space stay respected, admired, and untouched by scandal for over 40 years. Mosie Burks is one of them. And if her tribute night was truly her final public praise, then what a send-off it was. Hundreds stood in awe, overcome by her presence. Dozens wept as she bowed her head in silent reverence. And millions more continue to hear her voice every single day through playlists, YouTube clips, and church speakers around the world. Conclusion, a call to the people. So what do we do now? We remember, we share, we celebrate. If Mosie Burks and her ministry touched your life, drop your story in the comments below. Post your favorite performance. Keep the flame of her legacy burning. Hit the like button if her voice ever gave you strength. Subscribe for more true stories of gospel legends and hidden truths, and most importantly, share this video because legends like Mama Mosie shouldn't disappear quietly into the night. They deserve to live on forever. Thank you, Mama Mosie. For the prayers. For the praise. And for every single note you ever gave us.